few delays.
What have you got for us now?
Well, we are broadcasting again live on Facebook, on Manx Radio TT on Facebook, so do go over there. We've got Tonya listening in Italy. Had my first TT experience last year. Got to meet my hero, John McGuinness. Best trip ever in capitals. Very excited there, obviously. And Stuart and Lisa say morning from a very damp Northern Ireland. No place like the TT. Good luck to all. Fingers crossed for racing today. And speaking of racing today, one of the things that if you are here, you might want to get hold of is a copy of this programme. If you're looking on Facebook Live, you will see that there. And this is in large part been put together by yourself, Stuart, hasn't it, this programme? You write a lot of this.
Yeah.
When do you start putting it together, and how do you choose what's going in it?
We probably make a start about February. It depends if stories break earlier, if people sign up, because nothing tends to happen till kind of after, NEC show, after Christmas stuff. So, and Alan Perkin designs it, I write it, and between us we just kind of fire ideas of each other and have to get the nod from Paul Phillips and on high. But in general, I love the creative freedom we get with it. It's like, who should we do? What should we do? And usually the riders are so accommodating that you can kind of make anything happen. So it's a real pleasure to do, and it's a privilege of the job that all the questions you want to ask them as a fan, you get a license to ask them, So I can be as nosy as I like and actually get the answers to all my questions. Well, some of them they won't answer.
And how much of, you were talking about the sort of change in media and how things have developed over the years with digital and everything, how much of your media is still in print form like this, and how much of it is online?
I'm still on the typewriter like Chris.
Like Terry.
Like Terry Kringle, yeah. I'm mostly still print. I mean, obviously there's far more websites, but so many of them just cut and paste press releases, and that's getting really worrying because the consumer is just getting fed what the companies want you to believe about their new bike or the new car. There's there's less independent testing and independent journalism, and that's a worrying trend for me. So most of mine is still print, but I do some online stuff. And as soon as websites make money and learn how to pay people, I'll do more.
And speaking of print as well, your book about Evel Knievel is being turned into a movie, I believe. You've got to tell us about that.
Very slowly. It's been about 5 years now. But yeah, Channing Tatum, Sony Columbia wanted the film, so the studio wanted the film first, which is a good thing because that means the money's taken care of. And Channing Tatum set to star and produce. So you get all excited. And then 5 years later, we're still going, really?
Oh, the world of film.
But I mean, as I said earlier, Lawrence of Arabia took about 37 years to go from buying the rights to making the movie. So maybe I'll have a pension when I'm in my 80s if they do. But it sits me that they don't make it because I get money when they don't make it. So
there you go.
Carry on not making it.
Hey, can you spot the Scotsman? He worse than Yorkshireman. Listen, I've got to ask you though about, obviously there's big talk about a Joey Dunlop film that has been in for a little while. Listen, I wonder if that's going to come to fruition at one point.
Yeah, I've not heard anything on that for years because I mean there was even talk at one point it was going to be big Liam Neeson, wasn't it? Who'd have been perfect with the accent, but maybe not so much in the height and looks department. But I mean, how good would that be? Only if they get it right. That's the other thing about Knievel. I mean, I've not experienced it before, but how embarrassing would it be to sit in the cinema and go, that was crap?
Yeah.
You sit there and go, the pre-review. Just got a question in from Philip Kelly. Morning all on Manx Radio TT. Listening in from Coleraine, Northern Ireland, around the coast of North West 200 area. Can you ask the panel, do they think in some aspects, Michael Dunlop is a bit like Joey, in his earlier day, extremely fast, but not one for talks to the media, etc. Stephen Davison.
He's not doing a lot of talking at the minute. No, it doesn't make our life easy, does it, Chris?
But away from the camera, he's got a job to do. Away from the camera, he'll
right.
quite happily sit and have a chat. Kind of like we are now. When we both know that,
Yeah.
But when he's got a job to do, and he wants to be focused on that, doesn't he?
Absolutely, he's just going about things his own way, and in that sense, he's a true Dunlop. They do things as they please, really, and what works best for them. And Michael's, a lot has changed in Michael's life over the past 10 years, and a lot has changed in his racing and the way he has to approach it. And he's totally focused. The one thing that I'd say about Michael, that he's absolutely relentless and ruthless in his pursuit of winning. That's what, and winning here. That's what really matters to him. And everything focuses in these 2 weeks. So. Maybe things will be a bit different in another fortnight. He'll be a bit more relaxed.
Yeah, and then of course to the Southern 100 it'll be as well. So, what are your thoughts on that, Chris Boyd? About?
Yeah, Michael Well, I mean, at the Northwest 200, obviously there was the whole 10 years of Robert dying thing, and Michael wasn't keen to speak to the media, and you can totally understand that. He's brought that kind of same attitude here. He wants to focus on the bikes. It's interesting though, when Michael comes over to do quite a lot of car rallies here because he loves driving his car. It's a slightly more relaxed Michael at the rallies, but not much more. That competitive head is still there, and he's focused totally on what he's trying to do in the rally car, and he's desperate to try and win a rally over here as well.
He was third, wasn't he, or second, or first?
He had I think he was fourth on the national category of Rally Isle of Man, which is one of the biggest events in the UK a couple of years ago, and he's had really good results on the Ulster Rally, and he was desperate to do Rally Isle of Man last year, but unfortunately his co-driver Rob Fagg is one of the top co-drivers in the UK and is in a lot of demand, and Rob had to sit him with another driver, and Michael hasn't stopped winding him up ever since that he wasn't able to come and do the rally. He's that keen to get here and he wants a result. So even with the rally car, the focused head is on, and it's all about performance. He's such a driven character. I've never met anyone quite like Michael in terms of pure drive and focus.
You have to be a winner. You have to be ruthless streak, don't you? We're about to have 4 minutes away from 9 o'clock, and we have to look at the sidecars, guys. I love the sidecars. Don't care what anybody says. Some of the racing we've had down at the Southern 100 over the last couple of years have been absolutely fantastic. Tom Birchall last night, 19 minutes 25.369. It's the Locate.im sidecar race today, 116.554, 117.119. I think it's a sidecar lap record. I think that could go today if conditions are right. Stevie Davison?
Could, yeah, and there's great rivalry between the top guys now, and there's three, they're all pushing each other, John Holden, Tim Reeves, and the Birchalls as well, and that comes off the back of the World Championship as well, where it's banging ferns every week for Tim and Ben. So with that kind of edge pushing, and you know that you have to go all out for it, because the other guy's going to be in there if you don't. That drives everybody on, so I think the lap record could go, yeah.
Yeah, I think Tim's leading the World Championship. I think Penty's second, and the Birchall's third at the moment. That's the way the standards are. Do you like the sidecars, Stuart, at all?
I mean, the Birchall boys are in such a golden place at the moment. Reigning world champions, double win at the TT last year, lap record. And I went up to see them a few weeks ago at their workshop. And it's quite fascinating what they were telling me. Now, at the end of Cronky, the right-hander, the passenger used to just stay buried. But now, to get round there faster, Tom's actually having to come up out of the slipstream in 160 mile an hour wind and start working the chair. Which, one, is not only probably pretty scary, but two, if you put your hand out a car window, they told me, at 70 miles an hour, you feel the resistance. It's physically hard for Tom to get up, but then now, the pace they're going now, they're now having to work corners that they never had to work before, and that's made life as a passenger even more physical than it was. And I can tell you, just trying to crawl about that platform at a standstill in the garage wasn't an easy task. So how they do it at that pace, I don't know.
And you look at some of the sidecar. You look at some of the sidecar passengers, they're big lads. Jamie Wynn, for example, who was in with Gary Bryan. Jamie's about 6'4". How the devil does he fit in there? And then you look at Andy Winks, who's the same height as me. It's incredible. John Holden, the old stager, still going. Lee Kane, 115.732 for John. I definitely think he could be in with a shout. Chris Boyde?
Yeah, I think you've got to look at the Birchalls. They're unbeaten in every TT they've finished since 2013. They've won every single race they've finished since 2013. And that lap last year that set the lap record, that was done in a meeting where no other lap or race record was set, which really marks that lap out as a tremendous lap. It really was the lap of the meeting, and it hasn't really got the credit that it deserves, I don't think. So everybody else has got to try and get to their standard. And yeah, throughout practice week, up until sort of latter part of practice week, it has been John Holden and Lee Kane that have looked like the ones best set to do that. But behind that, the Tim Reeves has come on. The pace has just come on bit by bit through the week, and the Founds as well. Both the Founds crews. The one that we're obviously disappointed about, really, and he's more disappointed than anybody, obviously, is Dave Molyneux.
Okay, listen, guys. Do you know what? An hour's gone already. Unbelievable. It's coming up to 9 o'clock. It is here on Manx Radio TT. Christy, very quickly then, you got some details for us?
So the road closing race times, obviously there is going to be an announcement at 9 o'clock if there is any delay. At the moment, though, we're still looking at a 10:15 from Brule Park Ramsey closure, 11 a.m. for the rest of the course, and expected to be open closed not later than 9:30 p.m. And the RST Superbike race kicks it off at 12 p.m. Just one more message from Peter. All excited, not looking forward to the end cold turkey when Radio TT TT stops. Can't you wean us off it somehow, please?
Well, we'll be back for the classic TT, so you'll be all right with that in the
We will.
Festival of Motorcycling, so don't worry about that. You'll get your fix on that. My guests on the chat show this morning have been journalist Stu Barker. Morning, Stu. Lovely to have you here. Nice to speak to you.
Thank you.
Do you ever think you could do an episode of The Coast?
Of what?
Of The Coast, the programme The Coast. You know, the guy who does the episode of The Coast is...
Oh, Neil Oliver.
Neil Oliver, yeah.
Well, we're both kind of born in Dumfries, I believe.
They're very similar. Look at that with the hair as well. Here we are on the coast. My missus loves his voice, by the way.
I also want my own. I like cooking. I want my own cookery programme, Jock with a Wok, where I just tour Asia with a kilt and cook street side.
I'm not going to go any further than that because it is 9 o'clock. Chris Boyd, thank you very much for that. And also Stevie Davison, photographer. Stephen, nice to have you in as well. Nice to see you. I'm glad your legs are getting a bit better as well. Don't forget, you can listen to us on FM. We've got AM 1368. We all know that. You've got FM 87.9 in Douglas and Ramsey and FM 100.6. That is, of course, in the Sulby and the northwest of the Isle of Man. We're going to get an announcement very shortly about the schedule. If it is going ahead at 11 o'clock, at the moment it is for road closure around the circuit. Manx Radio TT, full commentary team on air from 11. From us at the chat show, for me and Christy, good morning. Thanks to Alex and thanks to the guys back at base. Back to John Moss for the news.